The Alpha Sessions.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Alpha Sessions. Today we have Nathalie Miranda in the studio.
Hello.
Welcome, how are you doing?
I'm all right. Thank you so much for inviting me on.
No, thank you for coming in. We're very excited to have you in. You've released so much music. You've broken into the dance world. You're an active songwriter, an active performer. We've got to love it. How is 2023 treating you so far?
It's been good. I've released one single so far this year and I'm just finishing up two more. A Spanish single and a Christmas single, my first Christmas single as well. So it's been a busy year, but it's good. It's all good.
Busy is good. I'm already intrigued by Spanish single. What do we mean by Spanish single?
Right, so I have a master's in translation, in Spanish and French translation, and been speaking Spanish for so many years. I thought it is about time that I started to use the skills, and I wrote a song in Spanish. And it's kind of reggaeton, kind of dance vibes, because that's what people want to hear, I think. And I'm really excited about it. So I'm thinking maybe September release.
Okay, so we've got lots of things to look forward to. Now, it's your first time in our wonderful studio, the Alpha Session studio, but you've been on before in the past, a long time ago.
Yes, I did a remote session in 2020. I recorded 3 performances from my home studio and sent them over to you guys. But
it's lovely to finally have you in. We're catching up with all of this backlog of people that we just need to meet in person because it's such a different atmosphere.
It is.
And it's lovely to have people performing live. And today you did 3 songs for us.
Yes.
Now, you've been in the music industry for a long time already.
Yes.
And your first release was 2015?
2017.
2017?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that was an EP?
Yes.
So since then... How has it developed? Because you're so active and you've come a long way. And like I mentioned earlier, you do a lot of dance features, which I really want to talk to you about. Okay. But that first release, how was that for you?
It was very rushed. I'm a very impatient person, and at the time I just wanted to get some music out, and the 3 tracks that are on the Bulletproof EP are demos, which I would never do now. I would never release a demo, but it's not been mastered or anything, but I was in such a rush to get something out. We just uploaded them and released them. And actually Red Light, which is one of the tracks on there, wasn't even the correct version. I uploaded the wrong version without the backing vocals and everything. So when we did the video, I obviously put the right version on. But it was a very sort of disorganized experience. So since then, I've done everything really, I've been planning everything to the T. So...
Are you completely self-managed?
I am, yes, completely independent.
But I feel like you've got it all. You look like you've got it all under control.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad it looks that way. Yeah. It's pretty hectic, but I like being in control of choosing what I can do and who I do it with and when I release stuff. So
yeah. Is music your full time?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
It is. See, that already is very impressive to me because we meet a lot of people, and just even people who do music regularly and they have a big following and they still do other jobs.
Yeah.
Outside of music. Yeah. But have you managed to make a living in music doing co-writing and ghostwriting, things that are just in music but not your career as such, like your artist career?
I've done. We touched upon the dance music. I've done a lot of top lining and features, co-writes for house music. And while they're not sort of international hits, they do sort of tick over, and eventually sort of a bit of money creeps through from them. I do a lot of live streaming as well, which is where I get quite a good kind of income from.
An income?
So, yeah.
Ah, what kind of live streams?
There's 2 platforms, Stage It and Lounges, which is a newer platform. But Stage It I've been doing for nearly 3 years, and doing Stage It enabled me to buy like a new Mac laptop, which I would never have been able to do without it. And just things like that, and session work, and occasional live performances where they give you a budget, they give you some money, which is great. And I used to do a lot of function work, but I've really scaled that back in the last couple of years. It's just not something I want to do anymore. I really just want to focus on my music.
Yeah, function work can be quite a lot. I've only done like wedding circuit acoustic-y things, but did you used to perform with a band or?
Yes.
And that's intense. So they're long hours, aren't they? And very vocally tiring as well, I suppose. So going back to your first release, you did today, your first song you performed for us was Bulletproof.
Yes.
Was that a new version or was that the release version?
It's actually a new version. It's a new backing track that my producer put together a couple of weeks ago, and it's different to the one that's released. I'm not planning to re-release it at any point, but I just got bored with using the same backing track for so many years, and so my producer put together a new version.
Do you work with the same producer?
Yes, it's actually my husband.
Oh, no way! Oh, I love this. I love it when this happens. How long have you been making music together?
Oh my goodness, since 2006.
Wow. So you know each other very well in terms of your music life. Yes. As well as any other. Yes. And you work in your home studio together?
Yes, in a teeny tiny little room,
really?
But it's all we need.
Wow. Do you ever have, altercations? Do you ever have moments where you're not making the same?
Yes, or very often he'll be like, it should be like this, or we should do this, and if I'm really adamant about something, if I feel that it has to be my way, I'm usually right, because once it's done, he'll be like, oh yeah, actually that worked. But yeah, I'm quite, sort of put my foot down with stuff like that.
Okay. Do you do a lot of production yourself, or are you always top lining?
Top lining. I can't do production myself. I would like to learn actually, but it's just so time consuming.
It's a lot of work.
And on top of the writing and the recording and everything, it's just.
Yeah. I feel that. I feel you reminded me a lot of, I made a note here, of Joss Stone.
Oh, right.
I don't know if anyone's ever said that before. I think it's the tone. You have a really unique tone.
Oh, thank you.
To your voice. But you've equally got that kind of powerhouse Kelly Clarkson, and I also wrote Texas down, which is interesting. I don't know if I had that before. No. That was just a feeling I got.
I love Texas.
But who would you cite as your main influences?
Freddie Mercury, number one. 100%. He's my man.
That's a big one.
Yeah, but I think with him, it's everything. It's his songwriting, it's his performance, it's the way that he was so different off stage than on stage, which I really sort of connect with. And I don't know, I just have an affinity with him. But other artists, Christina Aguilera, Tina Turner, Prince, George Michael.
Wow. These are big names.
Yeah, I just love all the classics, really.
So you said just a second ago, I want to pick up on this, that you're different on stage and off stage. What do you mean by that? I'm
quite awkward off stage. I
Really?
I tend to trip up on my words, which is why I don't talk a lot when I'm on stage. I'm just like, this song is called whatever, and I carry on. I'm fairly shy when I'm just sort of Nathalie off stage kind of thing, but when I get on stage and the music starts, a different kind of persona sort of takes over. I don't know what it is, but that's what I'd say.
Do you perform a lot live? How long have you been performing?
Since I was about 15, so a really long time. And live performance is where I'm happiest. Obviously the studio is necessary, but I find it a very sort of long and confining experience being in the studio. I get very frustrated and
really, that's interesting.
So yeah, but it's obviously, we have to do it, and it creates music. So
yeah.
Words are ammunition, you shot so well, aiming for my heart and then down I fell. With every bullet, baby, I built a wall, all in anticipation of watching you fall. Got my army right beside me, are you ready for war? Take a deep breath, better guess it is my battle call. I'm bulletproof, my armor suit, no one can hurt me now. I'm bulletproof, so I don't bruise, I'm rising from the ground. I'm bulletproof, misunderstood, you pushed me to the edge. Because of you, I'm bulletproof. Nothing you can do to me anymore, 'cause I got no emotions left to explore. With every single word I grew thicker skin. Now all of your excuses are wearing thin. Got my army right beside me. Are you ready for war? Take a deep breath, let it get set. Here's my battle call. I'm bulletproof, my armor suit, no one can hurt me now. I'm bulletproof, so I don't bruise. I'm rising from the ground. I'm bulletproof, misunderstood. You pushed me to the edge because of you. I'm bulletproof. Come a little closer, move one step closer. Just come a little closer, put down your gun. Don't wanna talk it over, so move a little closer, 'cause I'm gonna take you over. You'll come undone. I got my army right beside me. Are you ready for war? Take a deep breath, let it get set. Here's my battle call. I'm bulletproof, my armor suit, no one can hurt me now. I'm bulletproof, so I don't bruise. I'm rising from the ground. I'm bulletproof, misunderstood. You pushed me to the edge because of you. I'm bulletproof. I'm bulletproof. Bulletproof. Hey. I'm bulletproof, misunderstood. You pushed me to the edge because of you. I'm bulletproof.
The Alpha Sessions.
But how are you finding the live circuit? You've been doing it for a while, but in London, do you live in London?
Yes, I do.
And how do you find that gigging circuit?
It's changed a lot over the years. Probably in the last 5 to 6 years, it's definitely changed a lot. It's still thriving, I think, but I don't tend to perform live so much anymore because I don't have a dedicated band or a particular person that can accompany me all the time. And I don't have the budget either to pay musicians to do that. So I will kind of wait until I maybe have a new release coming, and then I might book some gigs and things like that, rather than just gigging for the sake of it. But it's still a very competitive scene, I think.
Yeah.
And I think for an artist like myself who is a little bit niche, I don't follow sort of what's going on. It's harder for me to get those gigs, I think, because I won't really fit into any lineup specifically. But
I think a lot of artists do have that struggle, weirdly. And if you go through promoters, they sometimes don't fit you in the right place, and you're watching the acts before you, like waiting to go on, and you're thinking, I don't know if they're going to like me.
Yeah.
And it is a weird thing, unless you curate your own night. Like if you're having a release party, you can have friends together.
Yeah.
Do you perform outside of London as well?
I actually have never done that.
Never?
No. And again, that's because I don't have anybody that can play for me regularly. Yeah. And people are very anti-backing tracks, which I get, but equally it's original music. So, it's a bit, limiting when they don't allow you to use your own backing tracks. But yeah, so that's one of the main reasons I've never gone outside of London.
Yeah, I feel that, but you should delve out there. I think there are people, there's an audience out there just waiting for you to waltz onto the stage, and then they'll know exactly that they found what they were looking for.
Okay.
You need to get out there. Have you ever performed in any other countries?
Only sort of as part of a holiday, because I'm from Cyprus.
Oh, really?
And when I go there, I've got lots of friends musicians that work in hotels and things like that. And whenever I'm there, they're like, "You've got to come up and do some songs," and so that's the only time I've done that.
Wow. Did you grow up in Cyprus?
No, I was born here, but raised very much as a Greek Cypriot.
Wow. And is there a musical background there that comes from different cultures that you can sort of draw from?
Well, my grandfather was a violinist, and I have a sort of a second cousin in Cyprus who's a singer as well. So there is music in the family. And I love Greek music. I'm very, very passionate about it. Even released a Greek song last year, my first Greek song.
I was going to ask you about this. I saw that.
Yeah.
And when because I'm scrolling through on Spotify and everything, then there's just something, no idea what it says. And I thought, what is that? And that makes a lot of sense now. What made you decide to do that? Just because you felt like you wanted to connect a bit more?
Yes, with the roots? Especially obviously being born and raised in London, I wanted people to know my my Greek side, sort of that's who I am basically, and I'm very proud of my roots. And I wanted people, my fans, and also people here to know that that's where I'm from, and also people in Cyprus who might not necessarily know that I sing or write. And actually, a lot of my family were like, "We didn't even know you could speak Greek," and I was like, "What?" That's actually quite. But yeah, so I surprised a few people with it, and I'm very proud of it. I'm wanting to write a few more as well. So at some point,
absolutely, because it makes everything more complex and more interesting and just very rich. But I feel like your influence, there's a lot of influence going in your music.
Yes.
And when you listen through, especially because you've done the dance stuff, there's so much different kind of music you've released. Like I listened to Is This Love, that one of the singles, and it's really 80s pop kind of dance. But then obviously the early stuff was, I don't know, more mellow and reminded me of Texas and Joss Stone and stuff. So how did you get into doing what you're doing now in terms of genre? You do a lot of dance. How did you get into writing on dance tracks?
So that was through a friend of a friend, actually. I met this songwriter at a networking event years ago, and then he just happened to remember me like a year later, and he was like, "I've got this friend who's written a track and he needs you to just stick a vocal on it. It's already written." I was like, "Okay." And then from that, I'd got lots of work from this particular producer before the pandemic, and then once that hit, obviously everyone was just writing and writing, and I had lots of work throughout that through Babbitt, the producer, and then people heard his stuff, and then they got in touch with me, and it was just like a constant. It was great. I worked with many producers and really just got to write loads during that period. So
yeah, I think the dance scene, and then as a network, is so huge.
Yeah, it is.
And I think the overtone of music is so regular as well,
Yeah.
that people are constantly connecting.
Yeah.
And do you find that has really elevated your career, like just being involved in that dance circuit?
I think it's definitely taken it down a different avenue. It's not my sort of favourite type of music. I'm definitely not into house music as a genre, but I really am grateful for people that want me to put my vocals and my writing on it. And it's been fun. It's just been fun to do something a little bit different, every now and then. So.
Yeah, true. And in terms of having an audience as well, it grows your audience so much because you get people going into big house nights and dance and raves, and when your vocal just sings out over the whole room and people say like, "Well, I like this voice, who is that?" Yeah. And it just, I feel like it just expands your audience so much. Yeah. Do you feel like writing on dance has helped you write your own stuff, or do you keep those lives very separate? Is it like a different part of your brain?
Yes, it is completely, because with dance music, majority of the time, with what I've written anyway, they don't have a spec. It's just like they literally say just the usual stuff, about love, put your hands up in the air, all that kind of stuff. And I try to adapt a little bit because I don't like to just stick with the same formula. But it's very much what they want, basically. But when I write my own stuff, I definitely go down a different path, and I like to experiment a little bit. And
such as the second song you performed, Echoes, which is your most recent release, right? And when you're performing, even in here, you can tell how into it you are. And I imagine that's what it feels like when you're performing that song live compared to writing on a dance track, just a bit more throwaway. And I feel like I saw somewhere that you said it was the most personal song that you'd ever released. So I want to hear more about that. What is this song about for you?
Okay, so it's about sort of myself now as an adult forgiving younger Nathalie for things that she did or didn't do, or the way that I viewed myself. I was very, very hard on myself and very negative about myself growing up. And the message is, for everything I couldn't do to help you to stand your ground, I will be there in the mirror with you. That's the lyric. And it's like, I'm sorry that I couldn't have been stronger for you, but now we're going to be okay, kind of thing. Recording it was really, really emotional. And doing the video as well was it's the most basic video I've ever done, but I wanted it basic as well. It was like no makeup, so it's a really special one because I felt like I'd just sort of come full circle.
She was young, just a child, and no one ever told her the pain that growing up would bring to a safe little world. She understand that life can throw 1,000 bullets at you and leave you nowhere safe to hide, and things will never be the same. Like a page that can't be turned, she will live her life believing she was nothing, and her voice was never a little voice inside, just searching for the words when there's no one in the mirror that you recognize, and when the pieces of the puzzle just ain't fitting right. For everything I couldn't do to help you to stand your ground, I will be there in the mirror with you. Yes, I will be there in the mirror with you. She was caught in between everything she dreamed of and everything she ought to be, so she hid away a shadow of herself. She cried, every little teardrop, a little part of her that died, but the memory still remains. When there's no one in the mirror that you recognize, and when the pieces of the puzzle just ain't fitting right, for everything I couldn't do to help you to stand your ground, I will be there in the mirror with you. Yes, I will be there in the mirror with you. When there's no one in the mirror that you recognize, and when the pieces of the puzzle just ain't fitting right, no, for everything I couldn't do to help you to stand your ground, I will be there in the mirror with you. I promise I will be there in the mirror with you. I am older, I am grown, I am free.
The Alpha Sessions.
Did you make the music video all
Yes,
yourself as well?
we did,
Everything
yeah.
is DIY. You
Yeah.
just do it at home
Yeah.
with you. And how was that experience?
It's frustrating. Like doing the editing for me is really
Yeah.
frustrating, super frustrating. But once it's done, it's like, okay, well, I did that myself. You know, that's really good. I'm proud of myself. But yeah, it was basically to keep the costs down.
Yeah.
I do have a director I use for other videos, but with this one, I wanted to just keep it really, really minimal and really raw. So we just used my phone basically.
Oh, wow, it's all
to
done
do
on
it,
phone.
yeah.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. But I did watch that. I've seen it. I think people don't appreciate when they watch a music video how much the editing actually is so time consuming.
It's so time consuming.
And even if it looks basic and it's just in one room
Yeah.
or it's like 3 different shots cutting between each other, it takes so long.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? But do you enjoy that side of things? The more sort of like even branching into social media, making all these videos. We were talking about this earlier.
Yes.
Do you enjoy that side of music?
I don't actually. I
No.
have to be honest. I've definitely changed my relationship with social media in the last, this year I think in 2023. Especially during the pandemic period, I was doing like 2 videos a day. I was stocking up on content, filming stuff, and just feeling the pressure to post. But more recently, I don't really see the benefit in that. I feel like if it's not coming naturally, if it's not coming from an authentic place, then there's really no point. So I've limited my posts. If I don't post for 5 days, I don't care. I'm going to wait till I have something important to say. And for me, that's a healthier relationship. because I feel there's the pressure to go viral or whatever, have a trending song, or that's great, but that's not what I started music for. So
you must have seen this grow as well, being in the industry for a while, and has it been something like you watched coming up and thought, oh, I've got to get on this, but equally you've seen the industry from a different angle? So I guess it's actually a good thing that you were sort of doing it before it was everything.
Yes.
And there was less pressure. Because I feel like that's why you're calmer. You can see what it's like without it, and you know that you don't need it. There was a point, as I say, over the last 2 years where I was really, really stressy about it because everyone was doing it and it was everything. But it's not me. It's not who I am. And I feel much happier just plodding along doing my thing. And if I have a video, I'll post it. If I don't, I won't. It's because for me, I just want to make good music, and then hopefully other things will come from that. Absolutely will. I've seen a lot of videos on Instagram of performances, live performances, but I was wondering how you feel about sharing your writing side, because a lot of people are very private about that, and that's because it is a very private thing. I think naturally you don't sit there and think actively, oh, I'm writing a song, I should film this for my audience. You just get into it, and it's like you're in that space now. So are you a very private writer?
Yes, I don't film my writing sessions. I like to usually just sit, in a quiet space and just write. And I actually do write. I don't type. I use pen and paper. And I'll record into my phone or whatever, and then eventually I'll get my husband in to come and get some chords together or whatever. So I do like to be very private about that.
So you always write lyrics before anything else, or do you usually have a little loop or an idea of melody first?
Lyrics and melody tend to come together for me. So I'll just be like, oh, okay, and then as soon as it comes, I have to just write something and get it out.
That's interesting. Because
I
feel like I always need to have some kind of instrument around me at the same time. Do you play any keys or any guitar?
I do play the piano, but I prefer to not do it live. That's why I like to have someone else playing for me.
You mentioned this earlier. You don't have like a regular band, but is that something you're looking forward to putting together, or are you quite happy just being solo?
I would love a 4-piece band. I mean, I've never had it, and I would absolutely love it. Equally, I'd like a dedicated guitar player that I can just call upon, but budget doesn't allow that for me, and I would absolutely have to pay them, obviously, because they're professional musicians, and I can't do it. So until that day, I'll just have to use my backing tracks or call upon some friends for favours.
I feel that. But you have played, I've seen somebody playing guitar with you. Yes, certain spots. Is that a regular, or just a friend?
He's a friend, and he's I literally have to try. I try to force money upon him. And he's like, no, I won't take it. I'm like, you have to. He's like, no, but no, he's a dear friend. I'm lucky to have him, and I have a keys player that plays for me as well. But like I say, they have other projects going on, and I would just love somebody that could just be
your regular.
My regular. Yeah, one day.
I feel that. It does change things, especially for an audience, because when you have more people involved in your band, you just meet more people, and they bring people to gigs as well. Have you got any gigs lined up for this coming summer? Any festivals, anything?
I don't have anything until November, actually.
November, wow.
Yeah, and it's just an acoustic gig in London. But I mean, as I say, I don't have anything yet. I might book something, but I've just been really busy recording and video shoots and photo shoots, and that's kind of taken over.
Is it a secret what you've been busy recording?
No, not at all. So there's the Spanish one, the Spanish song I mentioned. We're filming the video for that this week. There's a Christmas single that I mentioned as well. We filmed that. There was a lot of fun filming the video for that at the Snow Centre in Hemel Hempstead.
I was going to say, you're filming that. You've just filmed that now.
Oh yes, a couple of weeks ago.
I don't know if I could do that. I'd have to be in the right mindset. How do you just switch on the Christmas cheer?
It was. I mean, the song is very unashamedly Christmas. I wanted to do something totally Christmas. So as soon as it came on, you just get into the little vibe. But the Snow Centre is it has real snow, and it was they just gave us a little area we could use, throwing snowballs and things like that. And then they have this area that's really cozy, like a chateau, not a chateau,
cabin, thing.
A lodge thing. And we brought some Christmas lights and we made it really cozy. So yeah, it was weird. There was people looking at us like,
Yeah,
is it Christmas?
Yeah.
But it was fun, and that's obviously scheduled for later in the year. But yeah, that's what we've been doing.
That's a lot coming. I'm excited about that. What made you do a Christmas song this year?
Okay, so I actually wrote the song when I was 19, which was
interesting.
a while ago, and I have been meaning to record it for many years. And each year, you know, it kind of comes and it goes and it comes and it goes. And then last Christmas, I said to my husband, I don't care what happens next year, we are releasing this song. It's got to come out.
Now's the time.
So we started recording it in January or February, I can't remember. And we just reworked a few things because it was just this little idea, you know, that I had. Changed up the production a bit and got it sounding exactly how I'd imagined it in my head. So, yeah.
That's got to be weird. Do you do that a lot? You write things a long time ago, if you know what I mean, and then you come back to them, or you come back to sections or hooks that you just never forgotten, and you're like, I need to do something with this.
Yes, I actually did that with We Got It Right, the song that I performed for you.
One.
The chorus of that took 9 years.
Oh.
Like,
Nine
as in I
years.
wrote the song and I could never think of a chorus.
Wow.
And I forgot it. I just forgot I even had the song. And then one day, a melody just came to me and I just went, oh my God, didn't I write a song a few years ago that might kind of work? And I put it together and it worked.
These are the most special ones. They're the magical ones where they sit in the back and you don't even know they're still there. And then they resurface and you look at them and think, why have you come back?
Yeah.
Now's your moment. Yeah, that's interesting. So what is We Got It Right about? Because when you write something a long time ago and then you finish it, do you have a different sentiment, or things have changed in life, obviously, over 9 years?
Yeah.
So how does it work in that way?
I mean, it kind of, the chorus just lyrically matched the verses I'd written. I don't know how, again, it's one of those weird things that just kind of came together, but the song in general is just about being positive and seeing the good side of things. You know, everything's going to be fine. We've got it right. You know, we're going to be okay, kind of thing. And it just kind of came together. So yeah.
When you write things like this, are they always from a personal standpoint, or do they start with a personal view, and then you write for other people, and you write for the masses? Many of my songs aren't personal. They're not really based on my experiences. I'd say the majority of my songs are based on things I've observed or things that inspire me, that kind of thing. Echoes is the most personal one, and Back to Life. But I tend to stay away from the sort of what's expected of a songwriter. I like to do different things. I like to try different genres, which has been criticised, but equally I don't care. I like to explore. Criticised in what way? Like somebody saying you need to have a thing, you need to have a... That has happened to so many people that I know. Yep. And it's a bit like, what has music become?
Yes.
Is it an artistic thing anymore? Or is it just... It kind of feels like... Even watching Glastonbury recently, I don't know if you're a fan of the Arctic Monkeys, but they performed on Friday.
Yes.
And so many people complain because of their recent sound that it's so different from their early sound that they're not fans of them anymore, or they're not good anymore.
Right.
And it's like when an artist does what they want to do, or they progress into a new genre because they want to, the audience just decides that they're wrong or they're bad.
It's very strange. And I grew up with... So the big artists, you know, that we had, Madonna, Prince, Michael Jackson, Whitney, whatever, I remember them changing up with every album. There'd be a different genre, there'd be a different mood, Madonna especially. And that's what sort of people wanted back then. It was like, oh, she's evolved, or, you know. And now I feel like, I mean, I'm obviously just a little independent artist, and I only release singles, and I like to change it up. And you have these people saying, oh, no, you can't do that because you've got to pick a genre and stick to it. I'm like, does it matter? Like, I'm making music. As long as it connects with people and it's something people can relate to, that's all I care about.
Yeah. And where do you think this has come from, this whole way of thinking?
I think it's an industry thing. I think they're less inclined to go with artists that maybe have a mind of their own, or sort of slightly older artists. They prefer the younger artists because they can mould them and tell them what to do, which is probably one of the reasons I'll never get signed, because I know what I want, and I like to do what I want to do, and I have like a quality control and things like that, my own quality control, and I would hate to be able to have somebody tell me I can't work with that person, or I can't do this, or I can't do that. And that's because I'm a bit older, and I know I've sort of been around a bit, and I know what I like and what doesn't work for me. And I think that's just my opinion. I think that's what the industry is now geared to, and it's very artists are disposable. Especially with the internet and TikTok and things like that, and that's not my thing. So
everything's just sort of getting more fast paced. Every year things are going faster and faster and faster. But I think as long as you're as sure of yourself as you seem to be, like, you know what you want, and you go after it, and it just makes you happy in that way. And I feel like that's what it's all about. Really. So it's been lovely chatting to you.
Thank you so
And
much.
I wish we could chat all day. I'm having a lovely time. And thanks for performing. If anyone wants to find you, social media, where are you most active?
Instagram and TikTok also, but the best place to find all of my socials is on my website, which is nathaliemiranda.com, Natalie with a TH. And if you sign up to my mailing list, you get a free download of Echoes, which is my latest single.
Get on that, everyone. Get on that. Well, thank you so much, Nathalie. It's been a pleasure.
My eyes to the morning light, sunshine on my skin. Can't help thinking I'm lucky. When I drive alone down that open road, blue skies above me, it reminds me. Got the radio on to my favorite song, moving to the beat. I got everything I need. Smile on my face, head up in space, dreaming of something, maybe nothing. Drifting along on a summer breeze, but I need to put my mind at ease. And I'm feeling like I've never felt before. Take me to paradise, free my soul tonight, be my satellite. We got it right, we got it. No one can stop us. We are victorious. We are out of sight. We got it right. We got it. When the night is come, the day is done. Feel it in the air, and I don't need to worry. Waiting for sunrise as I close my eyes, starlight above me. It reminds me when I'm driving home and I'm all alone, somewhere in between, and I'm lost in a daydream. Another day begins, take a deep breath in, dreaming of something, maybe nothing. Take me to paradise, free my soul tonight, be my satellite. We got it right, we got it. No one can stop us. We are victorious. We are out of sight. We got it right, we got it. Doesn't matter where we come from, doesn't matter who we are. As long as we remember we are shining stars, we are stars. We're burning, burning brighter. We ain't got no bad blood. Listen when I tell you we are
shining stars, we are stars.